Welcome to my other world. You know me for being a guitar builder, but I also have a side company I sort of fell into founding called VintageToolShop.com, and every now and then I get to buy a load of tools and machines and fantastic things, generally when people are downsizing, and well, that is the case. That is the case today. I'm at a private workshop where this gentleman has not only a woodworking workshop, but an engineering workshop and a forge.
Burn it.
Haha! Yay! As well as, just all sorts of amazing stuff. And I thought it would be interesting for you guys to, wander around with me and see what we've got. I'm not buying all of this. This is a downsize, but a lot of it is going to be going home with me. And some of it. Well, this is a gorgeous small surface grinder with Eclipse magnetic chuck, and this is going to be coming to Crimson with me. And at some point I'm going to use it to make hand planes. So let's have a rummage. I'm going to put my mask back on and we'll go from there. So you never really know what you're going to get, but we have cast iron garden bench ends that my wife has asked for, and random African carvings that will find something to do. That probably came from the same area of the world as I did, and lovely little boxes and the like. Alright, so the first workshop here is the Woodwork, and it's in a total state. This is mid-move. Some stuff has been removed, but there's a lot that's just going to be coming to us, or unfortunately being scrapped. Check in. Okay, now my audio is not, I don't have a microphone today. Look at these molding planes. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to buy many of these, but they are gorgeous. That there is a spar plane. So this is for making masts on ships and fence posts and the like. A general rule when you're looking at molding planes is if you see one that sticks out more, like that, that's about ½ an inch longer. And the older ones are longer, so this is probably 19th century or thereabouts. I can't make out the name, but yeah, moulding planes aren't worth huge amounts. Often they've got worm, but you never really know. You might find a Robert Wooding, for example, that could be worth hundreds. That looks like a spill plane of sorts, yeah. So this is for making a tapered spill, sort of a cone of shaving, and that cone is then lit and used as a match because it burns relatively slowly, and it comes out sideways. Those are amazing. There's just all sorts of stuff, and you never know. Vintage saw sets, a blade style saw set. You can tell I'm not wearing an Amiga or a Rolex or anything today. It's very much G-Shock territory. Something else I always ask about, there we go, little Record 75, is whether there's watches or watchmaking accoutrements available. Just standard block planes, more block planes. This man is after my own heart. He's a collector of things, a collector of nice things, and yeah, there but for the grace of God go I. If I didn't have the shop, my workshops would look the same as this, and more so. I think we're going to be taking this big pillar drill. It's a vintage hand-operated beastie, but there's a mechanism up at the top there that, once engaged, means that when you turn the wheel, the drill itself pushes down. So you're not having to have three hands while doing it. Vintage saws, everybody loves a modern hardpoint because they're so easy, but a good vintage saw is just something else. And we've got a bunch of brass backed saws, a lot of Spear and Jackson. So brass back. The blade's not in the best condition on that one. But that's a good way of storing. Okay. Now, where else are we? So that's a big old start right. I've only just noticed the nail storage on the wall. That's quite cool. Isn't that gorgeous? Later number stencils, probably military. They live in that. I'll try and buy those. There's a sneaky 4.5 sitting underneath. If you ever see a 4.5, always look for an H just there. 4.5 and 5.5. They are rare. I'm dropping stuff. They are rare, but worth having, because they are worth 10 times as much. Old lathe. That's some marbles, rosewood probably, torpedo level. Haha, you can't beat Barco. So as we go around, I'll look at the other stuff. Those are interesting for guitar building. If you don't have a bandsaw, etc., you can cut a guitar out with that. Drawers of chisels. Chisels, anyone? Beautiful. Okay, so here is the general sort of engineering mechanic sort of stuff. Lots of spanners, and we've got air storage. I love old storage. Bins and bays and things, they're just so gorgeous. But as well as the general stuff and nonsense, we've got, well, this machine here, that's for cutting circles out of material. It's like a giant can opener. That's just incredible, isn't it? And then this is a Victorian bandsaw that's semi disassembled. I would love to have that. I just don't know what I would do with it. You can see the wheels. We've got a powered hacksaw, old bandsaw. Here's a die filer. I desperately want a die filer for myself. And milling machine. No, what is this beastie? I can't actually tell. Oh, I want that. Marbles. There you go. Hibernia marbles, adjustable spoke shave, and it's got the fine adjustment there, although that looks like it needs a little bit of work in boxwoods. So yeah, let me put that somewhere where I'm going to see it again. You just never know. English wheel, we've got pantograph. So a lot of this the gentleman is keeping. I think I have that very bending machine. Roller, there we go, metal roller. I've got that one in my garden. And again, various bits and pieces, lots of vices and clamps and stuff. This is a little Unimat, an Emco Unimat lathe with milling attachment. We're buying that. Watchmaker stuff. There's just, oh, look at these. Oh, I love these things. So these are little meths burners, basically. So you put meths in there, and then you have a hot flame coming out the top, and you can use that to, I don't know, heat things up. Hand forged. There goes a little forge. Speaking of forge, just across the way is this. Okay, so we're stepping down into it. Lots of just amazing things. There is a giant lathe underneath all that. Mind my step. Carefully. Okay, so the first time I saw this workshop, there were 40 bicycles hung up on this ceiling, and it's a little bit more clear now. So here is the main forge. This is for bending whatever that circle's called. Crikey, too much in my head. Look at the size of those dividers. And this is an old bellows that I'm going to be taking. Lots of tongs. We're going to be buying a lot of hammers. Now that is a drilling machine. Look at that beastie. Oh my gosh. Cracky, that must be a 10-inch vise. Yeah. Alright, so that's a Denby belt driven. Here's a giant. That's a giant press. Oh my gosh. And then we have things that there's this is a power hammer. I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm trying not to get the camera too dirty. So underneath that oil can there's a giant power hammer, which is unfortunately sold. I want a power hammer. I'm not allowed a power hammer. Those are railway lamps, signal lamps. This is just amazing. And there's an engine. Again, I'm not the most knowledgeable over engines and things like that, so that's not my beastie. But there he is. I'm more interested in random little unnecessarily ornate screwdrivers than anything else. More vices, more bending. Vintage. Look at this. So this is a spade or a fork, and it's got metal strapping all the way up the handle. And there's going to be a lot of that. So, what do you think? So this is another world that I have. I do this sort of thing, well, in normal years, a lot more regularly. Once or twice a month, I'll go and rummage around workshops and buy them. And let me know if you like this sort of thing. If you want to see more of it, I am more than willing to bring the camera and do a little bit of filming if the owner allows it. We'll go from there. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, and check out vintagetoolshop.com. It really helps me, and I appreciate it. So there we go. Look at that, artistically passing behind a chain. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.